Senate condemns removal of the Chief Judge of Benue State by Benue State House of Assembly, describing the action as a constitutional breach. Plus, on the news, Senate's chamber is thrown into chaos as a heated exchange erupted between Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan and Godswill Akpabio over change of a seat without our consent. From the international scene, United Nations 1M23 and group is advancing on strategic zones in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo after taking two key cities, underscoring the threat of a regional conflict. Details of this and more coming soon. Do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now, details of the news. The Nigerian Senate on Thursday strongly condemned the removal of the Chief Judge of Benue State, Justice Maurice Ikpambise, by the Benue State House of Assembly, describing the action as a constitutional breach. The Senate's position followed the point of order raised by the minority leader, Senator Abba Moro, who decried the unlawful removal of the Chief Judge. According to Senator Moro, the incident occurred at the Benue State Assembly on Wednesday, where Justice Ikpambise was forcefully removed from office in an alleged breach of due process. He further revealed that 13 members of the Assembly opposed the Chief Judge's removal were suspended for 3 months by the Speaker, Honorable Andona Dajo.
President, the motion is on the fact that the State House of Assembly passed a resolution removing the state's Chief Judge in contravention of relevant sections of the Constitution and without the participation of the National Judicial Council.
Joining the debate, Senator Siriake Dixon from Bayelsa West expressed deep concern over the constitutional implications of the incident, warning that such actions could set a dangerous precedent for political office holders.
There's an attempt to disrupt the course of justice as stated, provided by the Constitution, in the way and manner that we are hearing, both from the motion and from the news making rounds. In spite of that concern, I just wanted to draw attention to what you have already said, SP, the Senate President, which is that yesterday, from all the news channels, clearly today, the National Judicial Council yesterday sat and took a decision and made it public.
In his remarks, Senate President Godswill Akpabio condemned the removal of the Chief Judge, emphasizing that the matter was already before the disciplinary judge for review.
Dixon has said, and for even the information available to us here, that the body that is constitutionally mandated to discipline judges has already condemned the action and issued a statement. What should concern us should now be the further action of the House of Assembly of Benue State, which tended to punish members who did not agree with the decision.
The Senate chamber was thrown into chaos as a heated exchange erupted between Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan from the People's Democratic Party and the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, over the change of her seat without her consent. The tension began when Senate Chief Whip, Senator Tahiru Mungono, raised a point of order, alerting Akpabio to what he described as Natasha's improper position. However, before Mungono could even conclude a statement, Natasha forcefully challenged the situation, demanding to know why her seat had been changed without her consent. As voices rose and tempers fled, Akpabio attempted to restore order, but Natasha stood her ground, refusing to back down. Frustrated by her defiance, Akpabio directed the sergeant-at-arms to escort her out of the chamber. A microphone was immediately switched off as security personnel moved to remove her, but Natasha resisted, raising her voice even louder. Sensing the escalating situation, some senators approached her in an attempt to calm her down, but she remained steadfast, refusing to be silenced. In response to the uproar, Akpabio took a swipe at the ongoing disruptions, referencing South Africa's parliament, where opposition leader Julius Malema was interrupted with calls to sit down. He reinstated about a similar experience during his time in the 8th seat, acknowledging that he too had protested the seat change but managed to resolve the issue without it becoming a public spectacle. As the plenary session progressed, other senators from Kogi State weighed in on the controversy. Senator Issa Jibrin openly criticized Natasha's reaction and went a step further by offering an apology on her behalf. Senator Karimi Sunday also spoke on the matter, defending the process of seat reallocation and dismissing Natasha's outburst as unnecessary. Now to the Green Chambers. Representatives are resolved to investigate allegations by U.S. Congressman Scott Perry that the United States Agency for International Development funded Boko Haram and other insurgent groups in Nigeria. The House will also set up a special committee to examine the activities of non-governmental organizations in Nigeria, including their identity, funding sources and expenditures. This follows growing concern over the presence of some NGOs in northern Nigeria where security challenges persist. Adopting a motion sponsored by Noah Garuba, the House urged the federal government to engage with the U.S. through its Committee on Foreign Affairs to seek formal clarification on the matter. Lawmakers emphasized the need for a thorough investigation, stressing the importance of regulating NGOs and development partners in the country. They also called on the public and media to provide relevant information to aid security agencies in combating terrorism.
Concerned, Mr. Speaker, that such allegation, if not thoroughly investigated, could undermine Nigerian sovereignty, compromise national security efforts, and diminish public confidence in the fight against terrorism.
For an allegation to come out from the U.S. Congress, for those of us who have had some relationship with the way and the workings of the U.S. Congress, it is not a matter that we should shy away from looking into. Mr. Speaker, the congressman that spoke about this matter is a ranking member in the Congress, so he knew what he was doing.
But to investigate all non-governmental organizations in Nigeria, because if you go to Maiduguri, go to their airport, each time you will see at least 2 to 3 private jets parked there, owned by NGOs. Most of the offices in Maiduguri are owned by NGOs. And Yobe, what are they doing there?
We must investigate the donor agencies. Number one, how did those money came into the country? And how were they utilized? These are the questions begging for answers. There was once a former military president that said, once an insurgency lasts for 3 days, there is sabotage and there is government in power that knows something about it.
Still with the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives Committee on Environment has summoned NNPC 18 Operating Limited to appear before it on March 4 following the company's absence at a previous hearing on February 18. Committee Chairman Representative Julius Pandi made the announcement in Abuja, explaining that the summon was prompted by complaints from stakeholders about environmental damage and pollution linked to oil drilling in Bugoma and the Gema areas of Rivers State. The committee had earlier received reports of a fire and oil spill incident in Bugoma, located in Dagama local government area, allegedly involving NNPC 18 Operating Limited. Additionally, the lawmakers called on relevant stakeholders, including the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, to discuss issues raised by the Bugoma community in Rivers State. The community claimed that NNPC failed to comply with the 2021 court ruling that required the grouping of oil-producing communities into clusters to promote development.
I want to use this medium to call on NNPC 18 Operating Limited, who in this case is the accused people, the accused operator, that the resolution of the House is that they should appear 2 weeks. So it's going to be on the 4th of March.
The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill to amend the Federal Medical Centers Establishment Act No. 33, 2022 to provide for the establishment of a federal medical center in Isonlu, Yagba East, Kogi State. Leading the debate, the sponsor of the bill, Honorable Leke Abejide, emphasized the urgent need for the medical center, noting that Yagba East currently lacks a federal healthcare facility. He explained that residents are forced to travel long distances for quality healthcare, resulting in healthcare disparities in the region. According to Abejide, establishing the medical center would provide access to specialized medical services, improve health outcomes, and reduce the burden on existing healthcare facilities in Kogi State.
I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act 2022 to establish Federal Medical Center in Isonlu, Yagba East, Kogi State, and for related matter HB 2024 be read the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
In a related development, the House also passed for second reading a bill to establish the National Vocational Training Center in all 774 local government areas in Nigeria. The bill aims to provide comprehensive management and administration for the proposed centers. The sponsor of the bill, Honorable Joseph Olorunso Adigbeson, argued that the initiative would enhance skill development and empower citizens with vocational training opportunities across the country.
Now, Joseph Olorunso Adigbeson, I represent Ijebu North, Ijebu East, Ogun Side Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ogun State. I rise this afternoon to move a motion for a bill for an act to establish National Vocational Training Center in all 774 local government areas in Nigeria, and to make comprehensive provisions for the due management and administrations and for related matters. To be read for the second reading. I move, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now to other stories. The former military head of state, Ibrahim Babangida, has expressed regret over the involvement of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, describing it as the most difficult period of his life. Babangida said this in Abuja at the official launch of his memoir, The Journey in Service. Babangida said as a leader of the military administration, he accepts full responsibility for all mistakes, oversights and decisions taken under his watch. Reflecting on his decision to annul the June 12 election, widely regarded as the most credible in the country's history, Babangida admitted that if given another chance, he would have handled the situation differently.
Our period of service has somehow evoked, and rightly so, many questions and stories among our public. This book, which chronicles my experiences, decisions and challenges during our national service, tries to answer some of these questions from my modest perspective. My colleagues in arms and I presided over significant change and turbulent reform. We confronted monumental challenges in the economy, the polity, foreign affairs and defense, and security spheres of our national life.
Events during elite gathering of past and present leaders were reflected on General Babangida's legacy and the state of democracy in Nigeria and West Africa. President Tinubu also seized the opportunity to admonish leaders, especially African leaders, to wake up and work to develop the continent and avoid overdependence on foreign aids.
The courage that brought leadership out to build our country. I'm glad that about what is happening in America and Europe, the contradiction that we are seeing now all over. What is it telling us? It's telling us to wake up.
Devoted to the transition to military rule and the June 12 saga. June 12 was a decision with cataclysmic consequences. It was the annulment of what had been said to be the freest and fairest elections in Nigeria's history. The annulment led to a military interregnum that was considered one of the most vicious in Nigeria's history.
The book, which offers insight into key moments in the country's history, also addresses other national controversies, including the 1976 coup attempt that led to the assassination of then head of state Murtala Mohammed and the 1986 letter bomb that killed investigative journalist Dele Giwa. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. Magistrate Court in Abeokuta grants Portable 2 million naira bail following his arraignment on charges of assault and obstruction of government officials. Details of that and more coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and the latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with Thoughts on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with Thoughts on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page as Galaxy TV. The platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. And to the story teased earlier, controversial Nigerian singer Abibu Kikiola, popularly known as Portable, has been granted bail by Magistrate Court in Abeokuta following his arraignment on charges of assault and obstruction of government officials. Portable, who had earlier surrendered himself to the police at the Lagos State Criminal Investigation Department on Wednesday after being declared wanted by the Ogun State Command, was transferred to the Ogun State Police Headquarters before being presented in court on Thursday. The singer faced a 5-count charge, including conspiracy, assault, restriction, being armed with cutlasses and guns, and conduct likely to cause harm. He pleaded not guilty to all charges. His counsel, Oluwatoyin Ayodele, pleaded for bail, assuring the court that Portable is now remorseful and has learnt his lessons. Magistrate O.L.Oke granted the singer bail in the sum of 2 million naira with one shorting-like sum and adjourned the case until March 5 for trial. Alongside Portable, 9 of his aides were also arraigned on similar charges before the magistrate. They were charged with felony, assault, obstruction and conduct likely to breach public peace. The Ogun State government had earlier condemned Portable's alleged actions, describing him as a serial dissident and unrepentant rascal.
And you are the Counsel to Mr. Habib Olalomi.
Well, the court stood down for 30 minutes. What happened?
The state took over the matter from the Commissioner of Police. And as it is now, the matter is with the state government. They are the one prosecuting. So that was why the court stood down for the state to bring a proper charge before the Honorable Court.
How many charges?
There were 5 count charges against him and others that were arraigned last week before this Honorable Court.
What are the
Oyo State government has vowed to go hard on crimes and criminalities in the state while assuring residents of the state of adequate security and safety of lives and properties, especially around parts of the state that experience insecurity challenges. Special advisor to the governor on security, CP Fatai Owoseni, retired, gave the assurance while briefing newsmen after a security stakeholders meeting held at the conference room of the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters Secretariat, Agodi, Ibadan. Owoseni explained that the meeting was convened to review and reject strategies on security matters and also re-strategize towards strengthening the security measures put in place to stem the tide of banditry and criminality in some parts of Oyo Township, Ogbomoso, Okiogun, Ibarapa, parts of Ibadan and Oyo State as a whole. He added that part of the resolution of the meeting was to integrate the community leaders and actively involve members of the grassroots in the security architecture of the state with a view to renewing the commitment to collaborate with the government.
There's a need to engage our people. It's all been said everywhere. Old society approach. We started it in Oyo State by His Excellency have proven that our architecture should be changed to what we call integrated security concept, whereby the non-state actors will have a handshake with the state actors.
Still on security, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetopo, has dismissed allegations by the chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Osun State, Honorable Sunday BC, as absurd and unworthy of a response. BC had accused the IGP of deploying special forces to escort miscreants into local councils in Osun State as part of an alleged plan to assassinate Governor Ademola Adeleke. He claimed the deployment disregarded the governor's directive to restore peace and order. Correspondent Kolojo reports that the IGP, while responding to questions from journalists in Abuja, stated that he would not dignify such accusations with a reply, calling them baseless and illogical.
About the allegation, but I refuse to dignify such absurdity with a response. I believe in challenging distortion of facts. We will not allow distortion of facts against us to go unchallenged, but statements that are clearly contrary to reasoning don't deserve our response. I am too busy for careless talks. I will not respond to such absurdity.
Addressing violence in Osun State, the IGP explained that the Nigerian police force responded to a call for reinforcement from the Osun State Commissioner of Police. He assured that sufficient personnel had been deployed to maintain law and order and prevent further unrest in the state.
You are all aware of the violence that broke out in Osun a few days ago. What we have done in Osun is to respond to the call of the Commissioner of Police in the state for reinforcement. We have reinforced the command and we have enough men on ground to ensure that there is law and order in that state, to ensure that there is no more breakdown of law and order in the state. My advice to the people of Osun State is to remain calm. They should go about their normal businesses and ensure that the rule of law prevails in the state.
The Inspector General of Police tasked the newly promoted officers on the need to uphold rule of law while maintaining the integrity, transparency and accountability. He declared that the officers are expected to lead with professionalism and ethical conduct, as their decision will shape the future of policing efforts and impact countless lives. Correspondent Kolojo reports that Egbetokun gave the admonition while decorating 19 newly promoted senior officers, including Assistant Inspector Generals AIGs and Commissioner of Police CPs.
Your promotion is based on merit, and your conduct should reflect your new ranks. This promotion is not just about recognizing your commitment, perseverance, and clean service record, but more of call to greater service, responsibility, and leadership. You must lead by example, uphold justice, and be a source of hope to every citizen of our great country.
Addressing evolving challenges in crime trends and community relations, the IGP urged officers to embrace innovation and collaboration both within the force and with community partners to build a safer environment for all.
The challenges before us are evolving from crime trends to community relations. Your leadership is crucial. I urge you to embrace innovation and collaboration both within the force and with our community partners to build a safer environment for all.
I promise you, we are not going to disappoint you. We are going to dedicate ourselves to service, and we are going to align ourselves with your principles and style of leadership. Sir, you are a sign of hope to all of us. I believe without your style of leadership, once again, will not witness what we are witnessing today. May God continue to protect you, guide you, and increase you in health so that we can continue to reap the benefit of your style.
Benue State government has reassured the people of Agoratse, Daud, Balgondu in Turan, Angusa, Iembe and Anuni communities in Mubadura Council Ward, Olinkwande local government area of its avowed commitment to providing succor and peace after they were attacked in the communities by armed men. The governor gave the assurance when his representative, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, James Yepu, and the Special Advisor on Internal Security, Joseph Ahmed, with people in Jato Aka in Kwande local government to commiserate with them. The representatives had earlier in the day visited the communities where the attack took place in company of Brigade Commander of 401 Battalion, Nigerian Army, the police, the SS and civil defense to ascertain true incidents where 12 persons were confirmed killed, homes and foodstuff destroyed, promising the state government will take care of medical bills of those injured and replace 2 motorcycles burnt by the armed elders.
The vast land which probably informed the reason why these marauders are interested in this area. So we are making assessment and we report back to the assessments accordingly. The thing is that when they came, the army people also that are deployed here repaired them. Otherwise there will be more than. So I want to use the opportunity to also thank the members of the Nigerian Army that responded, led by the fine gentleman, the captain.
Today we see counts by two people who were kids, about 4 who discovered that have very odd degrees of injury. 24 houses were burnt, and then 2 motorcycles were also burnt. We are going to also replace those 2 bicycles that were burnt, as well as the usual bring relief materials to those communities that were affected.
Meanwhile, some of affected residents said the attack started last Saturday by armed elders across the river, where they killed in one community before attacking others. They appealed to government to assist them return to their homes.
Fulani people then came to our place here. They killed our brothers, about 2 people. They pack our goods, bambala and some other mattresses, then carry it from the riverside. After we run, they shoot us, our brothers, then started burning our places. Not only here, they burn our places more down. Even you can see here, if you walk around this our village, then you go and discover that they burn more down where we are staying here right now.
Because me myself, I did find that time. So as they go on the shot like this, I don't even know. So I just long to come back. As in how people are running, I just me too along come up.
Still in Benue State, victims who sustained severe injuries from armed herdsmen attack this last Saturday in Kwande local government area are currently being treated unfed by the Benue State government until they are discharged from the hospital. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, James Yopu, stated this after he visited the victims who were brought to Benue State University Teaching Hospital, Makadi, for treatment. He said Governor Ayose Thalia has made it mandatory for all victims who sustained injuries and those sick among the displaced to be treated free to ease the burden on the victims and their families. The medical director of the Teaching Hospital, Makadi, Dr. Stephen Wande, who led the permanent secretary and all the government officials to observe the victims in their wards, said the victims are recuperating from their injuries and thanked the governor and Semabas, who doubles as permanent secretary for humanitarian affairs, for their commitment and policies put in place to support displaced persons and victims of herdsmen attack in the state.
While we are carrying out assessments of the situation in Kwande, we discovered that some victims were rushed to Benue State University Teaching Hospital. Now we returned last night, and this morning we are here to assess the situation. Yes, actually we have seen that 4 people are in the hospital on bed. And actually 5 were brought here on Tuesday. We lost 1 of them. 4 are still here. And you are aware that SEMA has a robust arrangement with Teaching Hospital. We are aiming to...
Good to commend the efforts of the state government and SEMA. It has never happened before. And they are doing this treatment, so I commend their efforts. And I also want to commend him for all the visits to the displaced people to show commitment of government to the people and the security. Now, to these people, they came here from Kwande, 5, one died. But you see, the other 4 were also injured, doing well.
And still on the insecurity, farmers and hunters in Auchi, Edo State have lamented cases of incessant attacks by suspected herdsmen. This was the deliberation after a security meeting by members of the hunters group as well as farmers on the native lasting solution to cases of kidnapping and attacks on farmland. Speaking at the end of the emergency security meeting, the chairman, Edo North Farmers Association, Alhaji Abdullahi Womodu, and the vigilante group chairman said they can protect themselves if the government cannot guarantee their safety.
Salesmen, you know what it is for a farmer to plant food and then you go to the farm, take your cows inside. You are breeding your cows for your livelihood. They are farming for their livelihood. Now you deprive them of their means of livelihood. You want them to die? That is the situation. And we are appealing to our people for patience. Otherwise, the farmers and the hunters they can safeguard themselves if the government is not ready to safeguard them from these Fulani headmen.
Auchi Security Unit, which is the vigilante in Auchi and the hunters in Auchi. So we met to ourselves, we now agree that we are going to work on synergy to know how to cope the bush for this kidnapping that is happening every area. This is, as I say, voluntary work we are doing, so that will give us backup, because in anything you do, mostly it is backup that gives you the power.
And to other stories, President Bola Tinubu has expressed his commitment towards embracing indigenous contractors in the country. These were the words of the Minister of Works, David Umahi, while expecting ongoing road construction projects along the Ekpoma-Auchi Road in Edo State. According to the minister, Nigeria can emulate other countries around the world in ensuring indigenous contractors are given priority. Also speaking, the Edo State Governor, Monday Okpebolo, berated the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan for abandoning the Ekpoma-Auchi Expressway.
Let me assure that the President has directed that we must encourage and support indigenous contractors. And that's what we are doing. It's all about method of construction. It's all about commitment, diligence, that the construction materials are the same. And the workers are also the same, and our people.
We had a president from the PDP who is from South. I remembered Chief Aneni was still alive, who pleaded with him about this road. He couldn't do it. I remembered once upon a time that we cooked on this road, kill ram, kill goat, ate it on this road.
Still in South Nigeria, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has said that the state is key to the economic development of the nation. The governor made the remarks when he received a new general officer commanding 6th Division of the Nigerian Army. Addressing the GOC and his team on the security role played by Rivers State, Governor Fubara said the state is saddled with a lot of responsibilities of safeguarding oil infrastructures in Nigeria. On his part, the General Officer commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Eric Emeka, said the task of the division is to protect maritime assets in the Niger Delta region.
Rivers State, as you know, is one of the states that is housing the economic strength of Nigeria, and we're saddled with a lot of responsibility protecting critical national infrastructure. Not just the protection, but also producing what enables this country, Nigeria, to effectively function.
See that the task of the division is very easy. It's simple and straight to protection of critical national infrastructure in the maritime and the oil domain, and also to ensure security in the South region. That I pledge that will give it our utmost attention to ensure that everything is done as expected.
You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. While we come back, the news continues. To stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Now, moving on with the rest of the stories. Legal practitioners in Nigeria have canvassed for a better living standard for judges in the country to enhance speedy dispensation of justice and sustenance of democratic government. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Ogu James Onoja, who led the call, argued that because of the peculiar nature of works of judicial officers and their supporting staff should not be exposed to any form of hardship that may hinder quick delivery of justice to the Nigerian citizens. Onoja, alongside the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, and Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, at the unveiling of the Barron Bench Press in Abuja, said that since the inception of democratic governance in 1999, Nigerian judges have been up and doing in the determination of millions of political cases that have greatly sustained and stabilized democratic norms for the nation.
In the modern dispensation, we are talking about their role, which is enshrined in the Constitution. Section 6.6 of the Constitution is there to give the power to court to determine dispute. And you know, if there is no judiciary, people will naturally take the law into their hands. The essence of having the judiciary is to provide a platform for resolving dispute in a peaceful way, in a legitimate way. Any dispute that is not resolved through the court, that is not resolved through the alternative dispute resolution mechanism, is going to be violence. So having a judiciary ensures that we have a peaceful settlement of dispute under the Constitution, legitimate settlement of dispute.
Among others, the senior lawyer canvassed for befitting accommodation, vehicles and necessary materials to enhance the discharge of the judicial functions which must be provided for them. The senior lawyer who expressed displeasure in increasing cases of ritual killings among youth to make quick money, warned the disease from actions capable of tarnishing their family names, religious inclination and reputation of Nigeria in the international community.
The judiciary have done a lot and they need a lot of support. What the judiciary need to function well should be provided for them. The judiciary need amenities. The judges need good welfare. They need to be well paid because they are also in the society. They are affected by inflation. You understand? They are also affected by inflation. They are affected by cost of living. So we need to take care of judiciary, provide the amenities for them to function well. And I said to somebody the other day, if pastors and native doctors are collecting dollars, why not pay our judges also dollars? Because they are working, and then they are subject to the backgrounds.
Now we move to the international desk for the news.
This is news from the international scene. The M23 armed group is advancing on strategic zones in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo after taking two key cities, the United Nations warned, underscoring the threat of a regional conflict. Recent weeks have seen the rapid progression of the Rwandan-backed M23, which had seized vast tracts of the eastern DRC, including Goma and Bukavu. The UN Secretary-General Special Envoy for the Great Lakes region, Huang Xia, told the Security Council that if information at hand is correct, if the M23 continues to advance towards other strategic areas in North and South Kivu, while the deep intentions of the M23 and their support remains unknown, the risk of a regional conflagration is more real than ever, adding that such a conflict would have catastrophic consequences. The fighting in recent weeks had raised fears of a repeat of the Second Congo War from 1998 to 2003, which drew in multiple African countries and resulted in millions of deaths from violence, disease and starvation. Rescuers have ended a 44-day search operation after they found the bodies of 5 men who were trapped inside a flooded coal mine in India's northeastern state of Assam. DNA tests will be conducted to identify the men as the bodies are in a decomposed state. On 6 January, 9 miners were trapped after water flooded the so-called Rattle mine, which is a narrow hole dug manually to extract coal. 4 bodies were recovered within the first week, and search operations had continued until Wednesday. remaining bodies were found. The process to identify the remains had been initiated, and families of the miners have also been called to identify the bodies. They will be given compensation by the state government, said Riki Pukan, an official from Assam's District Disaster Management Authority. The search operations at the Umgraso coal mine in Assam's Dima Asau district were jointly conducted by Special Disaster Forces alongside the Indian Army, the Indian Navy, the State Police and District Disaster Authority. Divers and helicopters were also deployed, but the remote hilly terrain of the mine had posed severe challenges. Australia and New Zealand are monitoring the unusual presence of a group of Chinese naval vessels spotted in international waters off the Australian eastern coast. Defense ministers of the two countries 3 Chinese Navy vessels, a frigate, a cruiser and a supply tanker were spotted last week in waters off mainland Australia. The warships have since charted a course taking them down from Australia's eastern coast and were reported to be located 150 nautical miles east of Sydney. The appearance of the vessels come after Australia and China traded barbs over an incident last week between a Chinese fighter jet and an Australian military plane. Canberra rebuked Beijing for unsafe military conduct, accusing the Chinese jet of dropping flares near an Australian Air Force plane patrolling the South China Sea. Beijing swiftly hit back, accusing the Australian plane of violating Chinese sovereignty and endangering Chinese national security. The incident was the latest in a string of tense encounters between China and Australia in the increased contested airspace and shipping lanes of the Asia-Pacific region. In 2023, a Chinese destroyer was accused of bombarding submerged Australian Navy divers with sonar pulses in waters of Japan, causing minor injuries. Still on the international scene, Israel has received the bodies of 4 hostages taken alive by Hamas in its attack on 7 October 2023. It is the first time the group has returned captives dead since the fire began last month. Hamas says the bodies are those of a mother and 2 children from the Bibas family, whose unknown fate had gripped Israel, and Odev Lifshitz, 84, a veteran peace activist. Israel says it will confirm their identities after forensic examination. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the heart of the entire nation is torn, adding that Israel was dealing with monsters. 6 living hostages were due to be freed on Saturday. In Korea, scenes reminiscent of recent endeavors of living hostages, 4 black coffins were laid out on a stage decked with propaganda in Khan Yunis in southern Gaza in front of a crowd of spectators. A Red Cross official appeared to sign documents at a table alongside armed Hamas fighters before the coffins were driven away in Red Cross vehicles. The news, though unconfirmed by Israeli government, that Siri Biba, 33, and her sons, who would now be aged 5 and 2, are dead, triggered an outpouring of grief across the country. President Trump has spent the day attacking Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, calling him a dictator, and deepening the rift between the two leaders. His attack came after Zelensky, reacting to US-Russia talks in Saudi Arabia, from which Kyiv was excluded, said the US president was living in a disinformation space governed by Moscow. Speaking at a Saudi-backed investment meeting in Florida, Trump said the only thing Zelensky was really good at was playing Joe Biden like a fiddle. The dictator slur quickly prompted criticism from European leaders, including German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who said it is simply wrong and dangerous to deny President Zelensky his democratic legitimacy. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer made it clear he backed Zelensky in a phone call to the Ukrainian president. A Downing Street spokesperson said Sir Keir expressed his support for President Zelensky as Ukraine's democratically elected leader. It was perfectly reasonable to suspend elections during wartime, as the UK did during World War II, the spokesperson added. Lastly, on the international scene, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has backed Volodymyr Zelensky as a democratically elected leader after Donald Trump described the Ukrainian president as a dictator. Sir Keir called Zelensky and told him it was perfectly reasonable for Ukraine to suspend elections during wartime, as the UK did during World War II, Downing Street said. The US president had earlier criticized Zelensky, saying he had done a terrible job and claiming he refuses to have elections in Ukraine. Zelensky's 5-year term was due to end in May 2024, but elections have been suspended since martial law was declared after Russia's invasion. Sake will travel to Washington, D.C. next week for his first in-person meeting with Trump. The PM has said he wants to use his meeting next week to discuss a U.S. backstop that he says is necessary to deter Russia from attacking Ukraine again. But the deepening rift between the U.S. and Ukraine has now increased the political jeopardy for him. Sake has said he would be prepared to deploy British troops to Ukraine to help guarantee its security as part of a peace deal, provided there was a U.S. backstop. And that's it from the international scene.
Coming your way next, entertainment news.
Welcome to Entertainment News on Galaxy TV. My name is Gratitude Imokwede. Here are the stories for today. The police in Ogun State have arraigned singer Abib Okikiola Olawomi, aka Portable, in the Isabo High Court in Abeokuta, Ogun, for allegedly assaulting some officials of the Ogun State Planning and Development Permit Authority, OGPDPA. The singer, who was declared wanted by the police command on Monday, February 18th, turned himself into the police in Lagos on Wednesday, February 19th, and was then taken to Ogun State, where he was handed over to the command. This morning he was presented in court to face charges bordering on assault. DME Okolanwo stirs the internet as he speaks Japanese to celebrate the birthday of the Emperor of Japan. Nollywood actor DME Okolanwo is channeling his inner Japanese to celebrate the Emperor of Japan's birthday, taking to his Instagram page to share dapper photos of himself in a traditional outfit. DME urged Nigerians to join him in celebrating the Emperor as he shared the video of himself speaking Japanese.
Nihon no Tenno ka. 私はナイジェリア人俳優のデミ・オコラオです。現在、東京で NHK のテレビ番組の撮影をしています。陛下のお誕生日に心からお祝い申し上げることができ、大変光栄に思います。滞在中、私は息を物ほどの美しい景色、人々の温かさ、豊かな文化、そしてもちろん美味しいに魅了されてきました。ナイジェリアと日本の架け橋でやりたいと願うものとして、陛下と共にこの特別な日をお祝いできることを大変光栄に思います。陛下のご知性が平和、幸福に満ちたものとなりますように、国内及び日本にいるすべてのナイジェリア人を代表して、陛下のお誕生日をお祝い申し上げます。
The talented actor noted how the emperor is a symbol of unity, tradition, and peace. As a proud Nigerian, he's embracing the warmth and rich culture of Japan. Okolanwo appreciated the spirit of friendship between nations as he sent blessings to the emperor. Alright, that's all we have on Entertainment News. Thank you so much for watching, and keep watching Entertainment News on Galaxy TV. Enjoy the rest of your day. My name is Gratitude Imokwede. Bye.